First and foremost, I'd like to thank the jury in this case. You had to sit through medical testimony and about 34 witnesses. This jury was highly attentive, patient, and never seemed frustrated with the long days and countless bench conferences while listening to the irritating white noise as the lawyers conferred with the judge. To the jury, you got it right, and you should be proud of your hard work. Judge Kane, for running a professional courtroom, thank you, and always being fair to both sides. There are so many who deserve credit for this conviction, for their participation, for coming forward with information, that I cannot thank everyone. But it did begin with Houston Methodist Baytown doctors and nurses, knowing that there was foul play from the beginning. The Chambers County Sheriff's Office, under the leadership of Brian Hawthorne, and the patrolman on duty, Yateman, who also saw something was not right. And CCSO Detective Skylar Rocks, who knew in her gut that this was intentional and never took no for an answer, persevered, took hold of this case with dogged determination, and worked closely with my office to make sure that we got it right. To the Hartsfield family, thank you for your patience. We are all deeply affected by your loss, and Joseph deserved better, as did the countless other victims in the wake of Sarah Hartsfield's reign of terror for the entirety of her life. To the law enforcement and prosecutors in other jurisdictions, I hope now that we have done all the work for you, you will seek justice for the many other victims of this psychopath. And just because she has been convicted here does not assuage your sworn duty to do your job in seeking justice in your jurisdictions. To the Donahue children, I applaud your courage and grieve your childhood that you were robbed of at the literal hands of your own mother. Heather Donahue, you are lucky to be alive. No thanks to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Phoenix, who refused to prosecute the murder-for-hire plot against you. Maybe they will move forward now that we have wrapped up their case for them in a tidy bow. And finally, Mallory Vargas, you are a force to be reckoned with. You have a heart of gold, a heart for victims of crime, and a passion for what is right. This case was no less a mountain to be conquered, and you've climbed that mountain and reached the peak and planted the flag of justice. I'm going to turn over the questions to Mallory Vargas. She was the leader in this, and she deserves all the credit for this success. And y'all can direct your questions to her if you have any.
Mallory, based on all of the extra things that came up during this, I mean, what do you think, why do you think Sarah Hartsfield was never stopped before this and arrested or prosecuted?
I can't speak to other jurisdictions. I mean, we see where there are sometimes agencies that it's easier to pass things off than investigate difficult offenses, and she's certainly skilled. She's really good at talking her way out of things. You heard that in the testimony, and it takes a lot of time. I can't thank my boss. I can't thank the DA enough for her allowing me to pour my time into this, and that's not something that everyone has the resources or the ability to do. But I mean, I feel like we were able to prove extraneous offenses in our own case, so it's there, it's possible.
What do you make of her demeanor in the courtroom throughout the trial?
I think it showed who she was. When she would come in, initially she appeared poised. She was very performative. I don't know if people noticed, but she carried the Bible, but then she would leave it. She would forget it. She didn't bring it back to the jail with her. She wore what looked like a wedding ring on her finger. But as people began to speak the truth about her, the facade wore off. She glared at witnesses. She indicated that her children were liars. She would glare at me when I was at the bench or whenever I was at a witness stand, and I think it just was a matter of time before it wore off.
How do you feel that the jury decided to give her life in prison?
I'm grateful. I wouldn't have asked for it if I didn't think it was warranted. I genuinely feel sorrowful for her. Mm-hmm. I genuinely believe that she was a victim of sexual abuse, but that doesn't excuse her or absolve her of any of the horrible things that she's done to people. And I'm grateful that Chambers County decided to hold her accountable and protect everyone else.
What do you make of the speed of the jury's verdict and then also the punishment?
You're here. It was a wealth of information, and I think that the speed at which they decided her guilt was a message to the community. It was a message to the other jurisdictions even, that they saw through all of it. And I think defense did an excellent job. I don't think that any defense attorney that I've ever encountered could have given her a better defense than Mr. Darwin. But there was just an overwhelming amount of evidence. And then I think whenever they heard the sorrow of Helen compared with the trauma of the children, it was just clear that it was a safety issue, the sentence.
And you talked about the overwhelming amount of evidence a lot. Was there a key piece of evidence that you think sealed the deal for the jury on this?
I think there were two things that broke my heart the most, and I don't know if it resonated with the jury. I haven't spoken with them, but I could see their faces a little bit. One of those was the Apple legacy, and I think I had never heard of that. I was stunned at that. And the grocery shopping, the grocery shopping, and I really struggled with this, while he was dying, she was ordering groceries, and we had talked amongst ourselves. ADA Sarah Porterfield even brought up, what was she going to make? What was the point of the grocery? It was a table full of groceries. And it was just evident that she didn't care about his life or his death. And I think that was clear in the messages that they read between her and a lot of people. The Facebook message before calling 911 to Carlene, there were a lot, but just her own actions, her own words in those moments where maybe he could have been saved.
With insulin as the tool, how did the preparation process look different? Insulin's an unusual method. Preparation look different for y'all versus other things?
Yes.
This whole case was different than anything I've ever worked.
Yes.
I've never seen someone with this much. She's very intelligent, but she also made a lot of mistakes. And it was her own mouth, her own words, that alerted everyone to the fact that she so obviously was the killer. I mean, insulin it would have been great had it not been Joe, right? That he didn't have this actual fear of insulin, this documented fear of being low, where his own doctors are he wouldn't do this to himself. He's scared of it. And then the fact that he had this overwhelming amount of insulin in his system, it just, it was different, but it wasn't at the same time. It was different in that there was just so much evidence.
Have you talked to the family since the sentencing, how they felt getting justice for Joseph?
Yeah, I think I have talked to the family, and it's we're family now, and that kind of happens in these kind of cases. I know that I don't want to speak for them. It feels like there's a sense of finality, but Cheryl's talked to them about a grief, a second-hand grief that can come after this, that happens in conclusions like this.
How do you, get to the point of saying to the jury, hey, we want life for this? What goes into that decision?
I think I said this in my close. It's not comfortable for me. It makes me feel very heavy. But there are just certain people that have proven themselves to be too dangerous to be with the rest of us. And if not her, who? I mean, her own kids weren't safe in the home, and as a mother, even having undergone trauma myself, like, I can't imagine the ability to inflict that so consistently upon everyone, including the people you're literally biologically supposed to protect.
How unusual was it to have the family of the defendant actually sitting with the family of the victim?
I've never seen it.
No.
I've never seen it.
Neither.
There was some indication at the end, it sounds like, that she wants to appeal now.
That's standard. I expect that in every case with a large sentence. I've never not seen it in a murder. I've never not seen it in a case with a large sentence. So that's pretty standard. We expect that in pretty much every case like this.
And this may be a question for the sheriff's office, but how soon now will she go to TDCJ?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
If she's been a problem in the jail, they'll put her on the fast track, and she's had some issues in the jail, so they generally put her on the fast track if you're a problem.
I do want to take a moment to thank the team specifically. I couldn't have done this without them. I couldn't have done this without the unwavering and incredible support of Cheryl Leak Henry. She's a giant in the courtroom. I'm blessed beyond measure to be able to learn under her and from her and through her, and I'm so grateful for all of her faith in me. But I'm also equally grateful for this team. It's a lot of hours. Like, I think I was working like 18 to 20 hours a day during the last couple of weeks, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without Shaquita Jones, Sarah Porterfield, Eric Carstorano. We have a new attorney, Allison Pling.
We haven't even had time to swear her in yet. She just got her bar results this week, and we haven't even sworn her in yet. We've been too busy. So that's going to be first thing.
Congrats.
Big celebration. I have 3 kids of my own, and my mom, Robin Edmonds, just stepped in for me in that role so that I could do this, and my kids, Vincent, Max, and Ezra, who unfortunately, and those of us that are parents know they have to carry this weight with us. Yep. And it's hard as a mom to miss out on things. But I'm so grateful for their grace, and I'm so grateful for my husband, my partner, Ernesto Vargas, who has pushed me and empowered me to be able to do, to be able to work like this. The families, they're my family now. Those girls, Ryan, the Hartsfields, the Knernscholds, they're just so many people that have been so impacted and have lived with the fear of speaking out. And I'm so grateful that they came forward. Our investigators, Brad Crone, Nick Gonzalez, Tommy Henry. Skylar rocks, though. She took the beating of a lifetime on the stand, but another murder would have gone free. A serial killer would have gone free if Skylar did not work. Like, I've never seen a case worked. And I know there are going to be people who tell me how much better I could have done in the courtroom. Just like, you know, there are people that are telling her, like, why the heck didn't you get the pins? But first call out as a detective, unbelievably well-worked case. And I'm just so grateful because she caught a serial killer, and she made us all safer. She made the whole county safer.
Yep.
And I also need to thank our support staff and everyone else at the office, Leslie Childress, Ashley Yulke, and Logan Silcox, including everyone else at the office who held down the fort, because this is a whole hands-on-deck effort, and everyone poured into this to get justice for a lot of people. Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all.